Please welcome Dominique and Ashley Sharpton. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
How are y'all doing today? And I'm sorry y'all don't have cocktails. Y'all at the office doing the Lord's work, but
yeah, King Day is definitely a day of service. So we are at the House of Justice in Harlem, where National Action Network, the organization founded by my father, Reverend Sharpton, in 1991. We have our annual King Day. We had President Joe Biden this morning in Washington, D.C., opening up with the breakfast, and then our public policy forum here in New York City with so many elected officials, because they wanted to lay out legislatively what they're doing to commit to Dr. King's legacy. And it was really important that they came to the House of Justice. They addressed the community at large on what they're committing to doing to keep Dr. King's dream alive. So it's a robust, active day, but we've been active.
But we were taught to take the day on, not the day off for Dr. King, because he was a servant. He was a servant. Yeah. So we know he was service. Service is power.
Well, we are proud of y'all sounding all smart and intelligent.
Lisa Ray, I miss you so much.
Well, we appreciate all the hard work. Now, Dominique and Ashley, today we celebrate the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr. Why is today special for you and your families?
Well, it's special for us because, we were born into this. And so to really see the work that Dr. King has done, has set out, I have a dream to hear how those words have really penetrated through a movement that has sustained so many years. My father, Reverend Sharpton, is a prominent civil rights activist in this, in the nation. He's probably the leading civil rights activist of today who actually lived beyond being 40 years old. And they have a documentary out called Loudmouth that chronicles his life that spans over 40 years of activism. So, the fact that we are even sitting here talking to you today is a testament of the progress that Dr. King's dream speaks to. And the fact that we have these platforms and the fact that we're making progress, and whether we're talking about issues in healthcare, education equality, safety, gun violence, police misconduct. There are so many things that we can talk about that are issues that will affect us, but what are we doing to actually change that? And so we are really blessed and grateful to actually be a part of working every single day on the ground to push and promote change in our community. And that's really living and embodying the spirit of Dr. King that he spoke so eloquently about and fought so hard to accomplish.
Dom said a handful, so I don't know if I have time to answer, but I'm an activist like Dr. King. I believe in God. He was a minister, and he was under the age of 40. To me, he's one of the greatest leaders that America has ever seen, not just of Black, but for humanity. And I think that his children, Bernice King and Martin Luther King III, and Yolanda King in her she was late, and Dexter King, they all carry the legacy forward in their own way. But this morning, Dominique mentioned that we had President Biden in D.C., and I was able to join my father, Reverend Sharpton, in D.C. To host the president, but it was also an honor to host the King family. Martin Luther King III and Andrea Waters King, who was Martin Luther King III's wife, and their child, Martin Luther King's only granddaughter, Yolanda, was there. And to hear them speak, to hear them talk about the beloved community and to talk about the legacy and what's next, to talk about the Drum Major Institute that Martin Luther King founded before he died, and that Coretta Scott King helped to keep going. And now they're keeping the legacy going. It was an honor to be there. But also, to quote Martin Luther King III, the dream has not been accomplished. We've created progress on it, but it's not been accomplished. So for us as activists in current day, to be the children of one of the greatest civil rights leaders of this time, we must pay it forward, and we must honor Dr. King, and we did.
That's right.
Wow.
And happy birthday, Andrea King. It is her birthday today. So.
Oh, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Andrea.
Dominique and Ashley, just sitting here listening to you all speak so passionately and so eloquently about activism. It's mirror-like to your father. You are the daughters of, honey, you are the daughters of Reverend Al Sharpton. Please talk to us about what it was like growing up in the household of such a prolific man. You know what I'm saying? Did you ever feel that it was a lot of pressure for you to do this, or do you feel like you just naturally came into this thing? Because it's given natural, honey, but just tell us about
I ran away from it. Yeah. I ran away from it. I look like my dad. Everybody since I was a little girl called me Junior. They say I'm passionate like him, but I used to hate people calling me Sharpton. I used to hate even being associated with all of it because it wasn't that I didn't understand it. but I just didn't. I wanted to have my own identity, and I felt if I chose the same path, then I could not be Ashley Sharpton. But then after Trayvon Martin was killed, and we didn't get justice for that, a spark ignited in me that I could not put out, and I've been outside ever since.
I know that's right.
I mean, I was born, we were both born in late 80s, 1980s, late 1980s. And I remember being 5 years old, 1991, when my father was stabbed in the chest, almost died, leading a protest in Bensonhurst to protest the killing of a young Black man, Yusef Hawkins, who was killed by an angry white mob. So we knew, we had been thrust into this, and we kind of knew from little girls that we could possibly lose our dad to this fight for justice and equality. Wow. That's a real hard thing to have to deal with emotionally growing up. And so, as Ashley said, like, really, our whole identity growing up has always been, oh, that's Sharpton's daughter one, Sharpton's daughter two, and never really understanding who Dominique was, who's Ashley, how do those girls like fit in the world and maneuver in the world. And so we had to literally figure out how to find our own voice and how to really push through, when we were dealing with the fact that at the end of the day, sometimes you just wanted to see our dad. We just wanted him to be home, to talk to us, to tell us things, to teach us things. And he's been a great dad. Don't get me wrong. He was wonderful. I mean, I don't know how he does it all, like, honestly speaking. But at the same time, having those struggles definitely, speaks volumes to us finding our purpose and us being able to be even here on this platform to be able to tell our stories, because we definitely have unique experience.
And my mom was essential too.
Yeah.
Well, Dominique and Ashley,
the mom for sure.
You're forging your own path with your own talk show.
Congratulations. Oh my gosh, I still can't believe it. We be pinching ourselves like, is this for real?
Crazy.
Like, this is crazy.
So tell us, what can the audience and fans expect from the Sharpton Sisters? Tell us.
Okay, so we are basically interviewing daughters and sons of legendary lives. Basically, we created a safe space with some of top names, their children, and we ask them questions. We ask them controversial questions. We ask them fun questions. It's not very political, so I don't want everyone to go on expecting to see little Al Sharpton, even though that's in us, but that's not what the show is about. We will talk social justice. We have Malcolm X's daughter, Ilyasa Shabazz, our God sister, on with us. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We have Cheryl Lee Ralph's children. We talked to Brandy's daughter, Sarai. We had a lot of fun talking on the show about the experience of being children of celebrities. Yeah. And a lot of people think it's all perks, but there's pain in it, but there's joy in it at the same time. And it's our journey, I feel like, needs to be told. Yeah, and at the end of the day, we all have a purpose to fulfill. All of us are a purpose. We all have to ignite who we are and identify that and figure out what our purpose is. And so we bring in that strength and that aspect to FOXSOUL. We're so excited. And so thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to really tell our story, to really share stories, to connect with, other people, who we want to connect with, who we want to be with, like who we look up to, who we, this is all about bringing people together. We need to know our history, but we also need to pave it forward. So what are we going to do to really secure for the next generation where this is going and how this story ends? We got to tell our own story. And the highlight was we got to interview Dad. That was fun.
Oh my God. Oh, yes.
We got to interview our dad.
Well, speaking of that, Lisa Ray has a question about that.
Uh-oh.
I am sitting over here nodding my head from the beginning of when you all talked. Dominique, baby, I knew this was coming.
Oh, you said it.
Even when you used to tag along with your dad and we were on the road a lot together.
We had some time.
This baby is like a sponge. She is soaking up all of that. And Ashley, I'm just glad that you came around, girl, and that you all have each other as a support. And I'm glad that you all are being raw and honest, because a lot of these millennials and a lot of everybody need to hear the stories that it ain't easy. And it wasn't always easy for you. So on your first episode, as we saw a little earlier in our show, you share the story of your father telling former President Barack Obama that you were not graduating from college. So talk to me about that. How'd that go over?
I thought that was interesting, the clip to start with. But sheesh, throw me under the bus. But anyway.
Bring it back around.
So I was a nerd growing up. I was a nice child. Dominique was, she had the stories as a teenager. But when I got to college, I went to Hampton University, HU, in Virginia, and I'll just say I had a little too much fun. I didn't focus, and honestly, I never failed a test that I took. I only failed if I didn't attend. So it wasn't my studies. It was just I was not focused. I moved off campus, and I started majoring in parties and I drinking and friends.
And then you made up for that, though. You made up for that.
I paid the price, Doc. I paid the price. Yeah. And that was one of the lowest moments of my life, to tell my father that the first Black president, was coming to my school, and I wasn't going to be graduating and crossing that stage. That was probably, if not the lowest moment of my life.
Yeah. And Dad had to actually call President Obama, because President Obama was going to acknowledge Ashley in his commencement speech.
That was in the clip.
That was in the clip. But Dad had to call President Obama and be like, "Yo, my daughter's not going to be there." Yeah.
But then in 2014, 2015, 2016, later in the journey, I ended up being a social media commentator during the Obama administration. For the State of the Union address. So,
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear. How'd you bring it back around?
That works, Doc. That works.
Kids how they can make it right. Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Wow, that had to be tough to deal with that.
Oh yeah, that was extremely hard. I went through depression. I went through a dark period, a very dark period, and I had to get out of it. And I started a youth group while going through that dark period. So that was also a challenge in itself. To lead other young people while trying to lead yourself out of darkness.
Well, I want to give y'all props because listen, in America, the public is not always kind to celebrities nor children of celebrities. And he's not trying to be a celebrity. He's a civil rights leader. And people are very critical. So you guys have to have a thick skin to be you, to exist in this world. So Dominique and Ashley, what do you want people to take away from your show? I see a lot of positive comments in the chat right now. They're looking forward to your show.
We want people, of course, to see. I mean, we are probably representation of some of the most unknown, well-known people in the world. That's how I categorize us, because I mean, it's just crazy. But we want people to be inspired. We want people to be uplifted. We want to provide some real stories. We also want for people to be challenged. We want for people to feel like they have to go away and do some homework on themselves and figure out, okay, where am I? What am I doing? What's next? I mean, this is a learning journey. But it's also a journey in a critical time in this country, for us to keep reevaluating who we are and to keep acknowledging and defining who we are and what does that mean to the world? What are we doing in the world? You know what I mean? And so this is a defining moment for us. We hope that it is a defining moment for all of you as well. And we just
I'll be watching
with us. Yeah.
Well, the cocktails, the queens would like to welcome you officially to the FOXSOUL family. Thank you so much.
Thank y'all. I grew up watching all of y'all. I've obsessed with all of y'all. So it's an honor, truly an honor. I think y'all are beautiful queens, and I thank you for your influence.
Now we and all of our soulmates get to be obsessed with you and your show. So Dominique and Ashley, thanks for joining us. Make sure you check out the season premiere of the Sharpton Sisters on Wednesday, January 18th. That's 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern time, right here and only on FOXSOUL.